Okay, so I missed that part. I don't know. Let's just recap. So later you can have it for reference. By the way, I started since last semester to do recording, but there's underline, very big underline. You don't need to depend on it. Meaning, if I see that, for example, that you try to skip classes and saying, well, it's going to be recorded. Later I can watch it at any time. Then I may stop recording, even remove all the links to the recording. Because the intention is not having you not attending and then saying, well, gladly the class is going to be recorded so I can attend it later. This is not the purpose, okay, of this class. So if I start to see that you're trying to skip classes, right, and saying, well, I can attend later, then I may stop these. In addition, those are not part of the syllabus, I mean the recording. So maybe at some time, maybe I'm so busy to prepare the video, not posting it. So again, I don't want you to be dependent on this recording. Try to attend here, take notes, okay, while I'm speaking. Feel free to engage inside this class. I don't want you to come here and kill yourself attending the class. We have 3 hours every week lecturing, and then we have 2 hours for practical session. So practical session starting next week. Again, feel free here. Don't look to your friend. Don't start to imagine, oh, if now I ask this question, my friend's gonna laugh at me. What kind of silly question? There is no silly question. Here we all come to learn, right? So that's fine. If you think that is silly, keep it to me to decide. And I'm sure there is no silly question, I tell you. So feel free to ask, engage. If you have doubt, something not clear, like now what I explained, traditional and machine learning, still not clear, then try to say what's in your mind. What do you think after what I said? If you think you still have doubt or you need confirmation about your understanding, then go ahead and talk, say. Then I can confirm, at least saying what you said is correct, or maybe I can help you to better understand. I see that you have lack of understanding in a certain area. So again, feel free to talk here. Okay. Later, actually, I share you some memories from the last semester with my students. So we are here all, as long as we respect each other. I'm just one of you. I'm student. I'm friend of you. So feel free to ask question. Feel free to engage in the class. If you have joke, go ahead. Let's have some fun inside the class. Okay. So let's just recap again. So what is the difference between traditional programming and data mining or machine learning? So traditional programming is about having the results by applying input plus rules. So we have input plus rules equal or leads to result. Like for example, you are building an application to primary school kid to find the multiplication of 2. So the input is going to be the number itself. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the rule is that any number you take, you multiply by 2, you get the result. End of the story. Machine learning or data mining, where, like you can think of it, you are doing reverse engineering. How about if I give the input, I give the output, and then I let machine learning figure out what the rule is. Again, why this is good? For silly example or dummy example like this, of course, it's not, there's no significance in there. But if you're talking about complicated problem, like for example, predicting car price, house price, right? Doing clustering, like trying to group up certain student based on characteristic and so on. So things start to become big, and you need somehow, some algorithm can help you to figure out the rules behind the scene without you having you sit down and start to study case by case, try to find some similarities and so on. Okay, so always stick back to the example, multiplication of 2. I give input, I give the output, and then I let machine learning figure out the rule for me. Okay, why? Because some examples are too complex for a human being to figure out, or maybe a human being can still predict and figure out, but the machine can still more effective and more accurate than us, right? Okay, any questions so far? I like to hear your voice as well. I know my voice is nice, but I like to hear your voice too. So if you have a question, or maybe you like just engage, that's fine. Okay? This is still not working. We have blue screen today, Windows blue screen. Okay, So let me just, can you see? This is just actually course introduction. I'm not starting the course yet, but just giving you some feedback or some instruction how you follow up in this class. Okay. Firstly, most important that you join MS Team. Right? I already created MS Team. Hopefully you can just see for, maybe you need some, if you have zooming in your phone, then you can use it. Okay, so for the instructors of this class, I'm gonna be the lead course, the course leader for data mining. So I'm gonna be your lectures for the theoretical part. We have 2 lectures every week, 3 hours. Thursday, 1 hour, Friday, 2 hours. Then in addition, I'm gonna be teaching P1, P2, P4, P6, and P7. P2, P3, and P5 by Dr. Zuraida, but anyway, I'm gonna join her as well. So actually, I'm gonna see you all the time for all practical and lectures as well, okay? For programming language of this course, as I said, any programming language can work. So don't say ever, for example, C# or C++ is used for traditional programming, while whatever language like Python can be used for machine learning. That's wrong, okay? Anyway, for this course, we're gonna use Python language. Anyone familiar with Python already? Any one of you at least has written 1 line ever in his entire life? Okay, 1 line, like hello world, just hello world. Anyone? 2, 3, only 3, 4. Okay, hello world. That's great. Okay. Okay, so actually we're gonna use Python, but as most of you don't know Python before, we're not gonna dive too much, how could I say? Actually, we're gonna use Python a lot, let's say, but we're not gonna use OOP, for example, so you don't need to worry about this stuff. Just you need to know how to use Python, generally, how to call functions, how to import libraries, okay, how to provide input, receive output, read files, these kind of things. Anyway, the first practical session is gonna be about revision for Python. So hopefully this can at least give you the sense how Python works, where you need to write your code, what IDE we need to use, and so on. Okay, but please try at least to write more than hello world in the meantime. Okay, see how you can try at least to understand the basic concepts of Python. Again, I'm not gonna go use the advanced things like if you study data structure, away, put it away, I don't care. If you studied OOP, I don't care, put it away. We're not gonna use any of these. Okay, so we won't have stack, we won't have queue, and so on. So if you study this stuff, no need to worry about, because we're not gonna utilize. Okay, but at least try to get familiar with basic things, as I said, how to import package, how to call function, provide input, output, define variables, and so on. Okay? Okay, for continuous assessment for this course, you have 4 assessments beside the final exam. Okay, so the final exam carry 50 marks. This is away. I'm talking about continuous assessment. You have 4: quiz, midterm, practical, and assignment. Okay, so for quiz, takes 5 marks of 100, midterm 15, assignment 15, practical 15. Okay, and I already uploaded what's called the teaching plan, but please, if you are looking where is the assignment submission date, when the quiz time is gonna be, and so on, they are written there, but you're gonna find that there's 2 brackets says tentative. That means it is subject to change. So if you need to know the exact date, I'm gonna announce inside the class the exact date. But roughly you can see inside the teaching plan, but it's not final. Okay, it's already mentioned, it's tentative. So I may change. Let's say quiz currently is on week 4. Maybe I may decide to push to week 5. Okay, and so on. Okay, so remember we have 4 assessments for this course. Okay, so the schedule I already uploaded, but you already have on your side. We're gonna have replacement for 3 lectures, I think. Anyway, next week, because next week on Thursday gonna be Hari Raya Kurban, so Thursday, so gonna be a replacement for practical session and 1 lecture like today. Okay, for lecture I'm not sure yet. I think most likely it's gonna be after 6 because arranging time during the weekday is gonna be impossible for 100 students. Right, so I think most likely it's gonna be after 6 p.m. But I'm gonna inform you for the practical replacement. Either it's gonna be coming Wednesday, 6 p.m. or week 3, 6 p.m. I'm gonna also confirm to you later. But either coming week of Wednesday or the week next week, week 3, okay, for replacement. For those who have practical session, falls on Thursday. Okay, for MS Team, anyone hasn't joined yet, MS Team? Anyone? Please, I use MS Team, not Weibo. So I already posted message there for Weibo because I know all of you have an access there. But from now on, all the communication or all the lectures is going to be uploaded to MS Team. So please stay on MS Team. Make sure that you already engage. And there's also for WhatsApp, there are 2 groups you need to join. One of them is for discussion. That means you can raise any question you like. If you have a question, discussion, whatever, you can raise there. And then there's another group for announcement. Announcement, nobody can post except me, so that's clear for you. You can check rather than go through the discussion, scrolling up and down, finding if there's any announcement. So I think this is more suitable way to stay in connection. Okay, if there's like replacement class at what time. So all you can check the announcement WhatsApp group. Nobody can post. It's just for announcement for me to place there. Like replacement class, maybe for some case, I may not be able to attend the class, so I need to cancel and so on. So you can check the announcement. Okay, clear? And if any one of you shy, doesn't like to ask, so also I have provided Padlet link you can find inside MS Team. So you can raise your question there as well. So you can be anonymous in case if some of you feel too shy to ask question inside the class or be recognized by your friends. Though actually I tried it last semester, but nobody asked. But anyway, it's there. If you feel like this question, though I'm telling you, please feel free to ask. I remember when I was a student like you, one of the lectures stuck in my mind. He was actually not quite old, but he was old already. I mean, he was professor, and he used to tell us there's no stupid question, but stupid answer. Though that means he was supposed to answer, and we are supposed to ask. I mean, me as a student. Now the turn is for me. Now you ask, and I'm gonna answer. So please feel free to ask question. Okay, this is the best way to stay enthusiastic inside the class and understand as well. So please, hopefully you're not attending this course just to fulfill the credit hour and then graduate. I hope at least you grasp some knowledge from this class. Maybe it's gonna benefit you one day. And then you can remember me and pray for me, right? Saying, oh, we benefit something out of this class rather than having time wasted attending it for whatever reason. Okay? Okay, there's course pool, then we're gonna do it next tomorrow, hopefully. Okay, for references there, if you check the teaching plan, there are 2 main references. I mostly depends on for providing the explanation, the ideas or the topic from these 2 books. Especially there's one of the famous book called Hands-on Machine Learning. This book has 2 sections. The first part is for machine learning. The second part is for deep learning, for neural network. So also in this class, we're gonna talk about the neural network and deep learning. And we're gonna talk about also how you can build deep learning network for different types, at least for predictive tasks. We're gonna discuss about it later on, okay? So please try, the book is available in the library if you like to get, okay? So actually it's quite good. I personally learned a lot from it, okay? So this is very good book. Okay, one more thing, this class may not be so easy. Why? Because actually it involves many new concepts probably you have not come across before. right? Like data visualization, right? I mean, if we see a visual or visualization component, how to read it? What does it tell us, right? So we need to read something behind this visualization, for example. Then we're gonna talk also, it involves data analysis, right? Some data analysis. Like for example, we're gonna talk later about regression. Regression is one of the famous algorithms used for predictive tasks in machine learning. Yet, regression is not invented in machine learning. Actually, it's from data analysis. It exists quite long time ago. But it's useful for some predictive tasks we're gonna discuss about later on. Okay, so visualization, data analysis. Of course, machine learning. Machine learning, we're gonna talk about the types of learning, how the algorithms work, right? I'm not gonna dive into the mathematics. I try to avoid that part. I'm not interested, and I'm sure that most of you are not interested. So we're gonna discuss mostly about the concept behind it, the application, these kind of things. But I try to avoid anything related to mathematics, okay? What else? Okay, programming language, as I said, we're gonna use Python. IDE, for IDE, we're gonna use Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter Lab. So I already prepared one video later I'm gonna post, show you how you use or how to download Anaconda and do the installation on your machine at home, okay? What else? Yeah, data analysis also involved, we're gonna talk about data pre-processing. Means when we have the input, like when I give you the table of 2 example, the input is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It's too simple, there's nothing there to do. But let's say you are reading data about cars from Muda. So for example, one of my students for FYP is working on second-hand car prediction using data mining. So he had to extract the data from Muda website, let's say for different types of cars, the brand, the price, how many tires, of course 4, and so on and so forth, okay? The gear type, manual or auto, and etc. And then he needs to do what? So he needs to apply data pre-processing first. He cannot just simply jump to regression example and saying, well, I need to use this algorithm to do predictive task. You need to prepare the data. You need to ensure the data is good prepared in order to have a good output. Otherwise, if you have, for example, dummy data, or maybe if you have rubbish data, so your model is going to produce also rubbish rules. Okay? So we have many techniques to talk about data cleaning, data pre-processing, and so on. So as I said, there are many parts involved. So please, again, I'm telling you from day 1, session 1, try to understand, not to memorize. The good thing about this class, if you try to understand, you're going to be super happy. If you try to memorize, you came to hell. Okay? So try to understand. There's always something behind as logical concept why we are doing this, why we're not doing this. There's some logical concept behind it. So just you need to think, that's all. Once you figure out, once you have your mind trained in this way, you're gonna find many things gonna stuck in your mind because you can recall the same process of arguing inside your mind, why we're doing this, why we're doing this step, why we're doing that. So you can have a great way to remember. Okay? I'm still talking so far. Nobody has any question? Nobody? Are you sure? Okay, but I still hear someone is chit-chatting. Also, you can chit-chat with me. Just talk to here. Make your focus on this center point. Okay, then we can have fun. Okay? Okay, for attendance is compulsory. Okay, and you need to enable your GPS. So I'm gonna check whether you are inside the class or outside passing QR code to your friend. So please don't do this, okay? At least, as I said, I need you to come here to benefit. If the recording is here and then I find out that people start to depend on it, of not attending the class saying, well, sir, the recording is there, it's gonna be there, yes. So that means gonna watch later and maybe has something busy with, so he may not attend at the end. So please, attendance is compulsory, and I may check on it from time to time. Okay? Okay. Okay, maybe later I share you the video. This is from last semester. Memories. Here it's quite difficult. I think you cannot see, maybe difficult, but anyway, later I can share you. It's already on YouTube. Yeah, you can watch. Okay, for this course, I also provided mind map. At least you have overall idea what topics are gonna be covered in this class. Okay, so we're gonna talk about concepts, data mining, like today, what is it? The different types of training algorithm, later also we discuss about. Methodology used, meaning if you are doing FYP, right? If you have FYP, so I think most of you already aware of waterfall methodology or agile and so on, right? Or you haven't touched this part yet, right? Remember, there is one chapter inside your FYP talk about methodology. What is methodology? It's method, function, calling function? No. Methodology are systematic steps that you need to do in order to fulfill or in order to achieve your objective. Okay, again, systematic steps, not your design steps. Systematic steps. That means, firstly, if I'm talking about any application, usually what we go first for, what do we do? If later you are working inside company and you have a project, what do you do? Sorry? Study, correct. So me study the problem. How? By collecting requirement. I go and sit down, maybe sit down with the manager or maybe the user and start to collect requirement. What do you want? So he says, I want this, I want that. Okay? Of course, not dishes, food. You're not inside restaurant, but he should give you requirement. What is the expectation? What he's looking for, right? You need to understand what is the input, what is the output, and so on and so forth, right? So firstly, you need to collect requirement. Then what do? Analyze these requirements. You need to understand what these requirements, you need to study them, right? What you need to do, and so on. Then what do? You do design. What is design? Interfaces. Most of you, I'm sure, they're going to say interfaces. Design is not just interfaces. Everything, the structure. If you build a building, do you only care about the facet, the outer design of the building, which is the interface on the PC? Of course not. You need to worry about the internal structure as well. So design involves class diagram, use case diagram, sequence diagram, everything goes under design, right? Then we come to the implementation, which most of us usually jump into. Just when we need to work on a problem or a project, just we need to open the language and start put our hands on the keyboard, try to type something. But that's not how it works. When you work on big projects, you cannot write anything. You need to go step one, collect requirement, analyze, design. Only then you can start do programming, okay? Finally, what do? What do? You sleep. What do? Yeah, testing. So we do testing, right? That means we need to ensure whatever we have set as a requirement, we were able to fulfill, correct? Then, any sixth step, deployment. Sometimes you need to care also about deployment. Maybe it's not there, but when you work with customer, especially like end user customer, meaning you're not working inside company, but just somebody approach you and ask you, since you are FICT student, can you develop this project for me? Then you tell him, oh, sorry, I'm attending so many classes, I'm busy. Right? But the point is, there's deployment part. You need to prepare the project to be published somewhere, or maybe deployed as setup file, everything. That means the application should be packaged and delivered to the end user. Okay, now we go to data mining. Data mining has some overlap step, let's say, like you need, of course, to collect requirement and etc. But when it comes to the design of the application or the system, it's different, right? So we need to care about data understanding because it's all about data, right? It's called data mining. Data is one word inside the course name, right? Also machine learning, same. So data should be there. So our focus on what data is available to provide or to fulfill the task. right? So this is what we mean about methodology. Now I'm explaining. So requirement, understanding, right? The data, what data we have, data collection, data pre-processing. Then we come to modeling. Modeling means we apply the algorithm, like regression. We're going to talk about later. The algorithm that is going to extract the rules. You see, after how many steps we approach that one? Then we go to validation or testing. Then we go to the last part, which is also deployment. So methodology, we need also to talk about. So in case some of you interested to go with the assignment, of course, the assignment is going to be about data mining, so you need to follow the methodology. And if you are attending, if you are planning to take FYP machine learning title, so you need also the methodology to understand what is it, how you do, okay? So also we're going to cover that as well. What else we're going to talk about? Predictive task, because one type of data mining task is predictive, where we try to predict for future value, okay? Like car price, house price, and so on. Okay, we're going to talk about predictive class. In particular, we're going to cover classification and regression. If you don't know these terms, don't worry. Later we discuss. We're going to talk about clustering, is another type or another task of data mining, which is about grouping up objects. Now, all of you here, you are objects here, right? But how can I group you up? Let's say if I come to one of you and I tell you, please go and divide this class into 3 groups. Then what do? You need to start to think based on what criteria I need to divide, right? Otherwise, how you do? Just you take even and odd number, separate them. That's not going to work, right? Maybe there are certain criteria you need to follow. So the point is, in clustering is one way where we group up object based on similarities. So we need to see how similar the objects are. So I need to see all of you how similar you are in terms of what? Maybe age, right? Gender, maybe performance. For example, I'm just giving you examples. What else? What else? Weight, okay? State, from where you come from, and so on and so forth. So if I'm talking, let's say, about dividing you, for example, let's say based on gender, does it require data mining? Of course not, right? Anyone can do it. If you bring school kid, ask him, just please split this class into 2 based on gender, anyone can do it, right? So we can put male in one section, female in one section. Then where's data mining in here? Data mining can work on more complex things where I give a lot of criteria, gender, weight, for example, state, what else? How tall you are, and so on and so forth, okay? The color of the eye, and so on. Let's say I have 100 features collected from all of you. The favorite food, favorite color. Now, okay, now if I give you, can you divide again? I'm gonna say, please find someone else. I can't do such thing with all of these features, right? So here data mining can assist you to group up these objects based on similarities, how similar they are. So we're gonna study also similarities, or we call it proximity measures. How we can measure how similar 2 objects. If I put one chair and one chair, for example, how I can measure how similar they are, right? So we're gonna also talk about all these stuff for similarities. And then what else? We're gonna talk about rule mining. Rule mining, this is interesting. Like if you go to the shopping mall, and then sometimes you may see that there's cross promotion. If you buy this product, with this product, you get some promotion, right? So how we can extract these rules? There are special algorithms for these, okay? So also we're gonna cover in this class. What else? Data pre-processing, data visualization, artificial neural network, as I said earlier. We're gonna talk about also anomaly detection. That means if I have outliers. Outliers means something beyond or deviate away from the norm. Let's say, just for the sake of argument, let's say the normal tall for any student is between, let's say, 120 centimeter to 160 centimeter. Then I got one student, his tall is 200 centimeter. So he is outlier. Why? Because he deviate too much. Now here doesn't mean something bad, of course, but it means sometimes these outliers can actually, what do they do? when it comes to the training algorithm, they're gonna confuse them. They're gonna confuse them. I give you a very simple example. Now, which car usually is more expensive? The new car, or let's say the old car, like produced in 1990s, or if you purchase a car 2020. Of course, 2020 car is gonna be more expensive, right? So let's say I collected data about cars. And then among this data, I got some antique car, which was produced way old time, like 1940. So what the price is gonna be like? Cheap or expensive? Expensive. Now the algorithm is gonna be confused. Is it the newer car more expensive or the old car more expensive, right? It's logical. So we have to take this outlier out so we don't confuse the algorithm. So we're gonna talk about anomaly detection. But of course, this is one of the examples, but anomaly detection can be like for function product inside the company. They need to predict which product they have produced and maybe malfunction. So they can do inspection, repair before they ship out to the final customer. Okay? And also the last one I push to the end of this course, we're gonna talk about OLTP and OLAP. If any one of you ever heard about data warehouse. Okay, so we're gonna, cover that topic, but I pushed it to the end. So it's gonna be for the last topic we're gonna discuss in this class. Okay, any question? So we are all set. Please, for this one, you can download the PDF file from MS Team, and please make sure you join all the WhatsApp group. It's very important. Okay? And if you have any question, as I said, feel free, you can post there for discussion, and I see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Yes? Oh, yes, good. Well, how to scan? Maybe come here to my machine. Please come here and scan the QR code, because I'm not able to present anything. Okay. Please just scan the QR code before you leave. Thank you.